Hey, sorry to do the old countdown timer to you, but I needed a second. I literally just ran in the door on time, technically on time, and then started the show late. We're going to get kicked off Facebook again because they really hate it when you start late. But I was not ready, and I want to talk to Russ for a minute before we started this. So, yeah, we're here finally. Welcome to the Dynasty Grind, newly named from the Dynasty Grind. Where me and Russ Fisher most weeks, sometimes we get some other DLF contributors to come on when Russ can't make it, talk about weekly things going on in the NFL and possible dynasty implications. This usually devolves into just a value or trade question symposium where the chat and you guys will ask us questions about trades you're considering or you'd like to make, and we bumble our way through some level of answer. Outside of that, ask us anything you want. We'll try and answer it while talking about things that might be happening right now in the 2021 season that have larger dynasty implications and what that might mean for our drafts going forward or the rookie drafts, and so on and so forth. Yeah, that's it. That's the introduction. We're calling that an introduction this week. So let's get into the show. Russ, how you doing, man?
I'm all right.
Cool. I nearly said it's 9:30-ish, so we're technically on time. Then I feel like we get trademark strike.
Ooh, we might get sued.
Like,
you want to hold that back.
Not a good idea. Yeah. How you doing? What's going on in your week?
I don't know, man. It's all right. This was a really weird week of football, and I'm glad it's over.
It's a big news week, right?
Yeah.
Already on Wednesday.
Yeah, not a fan. Not a fan. Just gonna put it out there. But things are happening. It's going. I try not to cry. I succeed sometimes.
Don't hold back on the despair or nothing. We're not trying for positive vibes. Just go.
Hey, vibes are vibes as long as they're honest. That's what they got to be. And I would never lie to the people. Yeah, it's who I am. That's how I am. If you want me at my best, you got to take me at the rest of the whatever those sassy things are. Whatever. Yeah, no, I'm good, and I'm happy to be here. I'm always happy to talk to Peter.
My week sucks too. Like, I know the bi-apocalypse was meant to be like last week or whatever, but this week is my hell. Like, half my players are sitting with COVID, the other half are sitting on bye weeks. Like, I'm starting like tight ends who don't even get on the field over quarterback twos and superflex this week. Like, I can't field entire teams. And
then you should probably go accept the trade I sent you in DLF League.
No, and I really dislike. I haven't even looked.
It's not great.
I dislike not being able to pick people off the waiver wire. You know, when the unlock thing happens and you can just add players for free?
Yeah.
Like, some of my leagues don't do that, and it's really showing up, like, where half my players literally just got shit canned for the week. I'm like, I need to be able to add someone, but it takes 3 days, and lineup locks will be done by then. I'm like, this doesn't work. We need to change this.
Yeah, you need first come, first serve. I get that there are lots of people, teachers and people that have like actual labor jobs that can't always be on their phone, can't always be on their computer. But that's just life, man. Like, I'm not a fan of like the everyday waivers or every 3-day waivers. You run waivers, you have first come, first serve. If you want to do another, like, lock it on Thursday and then do another one Sunday morning, that's weird. That's interesting. I could see that though, but still, you're overdoing it by saying, no first come, first serves. That's overcorrecting.
Yeah, and that on top of all the COVID, like, I felt like I'd exaggerated this offseason that this year was going to be worse for people getting put on COVID watch and whatever. Because it really hadn't been affecting me much. I didn't see much about it either. But this week I've got like Aaron Rodgers. Who else was it I just found out? Literally, I can't start because he's got a C next to his name. I'm like, actually, no. Actually, it's really hurting us.
Adams hasn't been... Fant. And Adams hasn't been cleared yet.
Adams. No, I don't think he's going to be for 2 weeks. That's
going to kill me.
That's my DLF pod run. Just the idea of being the inaugural winner of that league was really keeping me alive this season. I was like, that's all I'm living for. I trade away all the firsts, all of them. And then they're like, no, you're done.
Chris McCaffrey, gone.
Just gonna
Rodgers not going to play. No.
sit half your squad for you, and you've already traded everything to win too. So good luck with that. Dimey Brown on a third for Robbie Anderson. Like that's the
You
trade.
love Robbie Anderson, and you
do.
need to start someone.
I do. I also love Dimey Brown though, and a third means nothing to me. It means nothing to me.
So just give it to me. I'll take it.
You're offering it, to be fair. Yeah. No. Oh no, you're asking for the third on top. Wow, that's strong, isn't it?
Yeah.
What did Dimey Brown do to your children that you hate him so much now?
No, I was really just playing on the fact that you love Robbie Anderson, and I was hoping it would just you would be so desperate to set a lineup, and your love for Robbie Anderson would just overtake you, and you would just hit accept, even though.
Who is Schwab in our league?
Jeremy Schwab?
Jeremy?
Schwab. He is at Schwab.
I'm not gonna trade shame him, but that one kind of stinks. All right, Jeremy, get out of here with that. And that's like a me trade offer. Anyway, outside of that, like a bunch of news that was heart wrenching to hear this week. I don't know if we're gonna get into it, but yeah, my whole thing, this show was gonna be about. I wrote it up. I know you haven't read it, but I put time and effort into this, and you ignored it. Only you read this, you get that. Like my first attempt at having show sheets, and you're like, no, I don't care. I wrote up Frank the ever-living Gore is now masquerading under the name Derek Henry because being immortal doesn't make you creative, and is now being the driving force behind a sudden and unexpected Chiefs revival. I thought that was fun. The idea that the Chiefs were suddenly going to be good, Yeah. Thoughts. That's it. That's the show sheet. Good
night, everybody.
Yeah. No, but there is like I was doing projections this week, and the Chiefs had to compete with who is his name? D. Williams, I'm sure. Darrell in this case. Williams is getting the leading edge in most projection services that I looked at, and I was like, Gore was pretty interesting last week, was he not? Not just fantasy points, his usage was kind of interesting.
It was more weird that Darrell Williams has been getting so much work with CEH out, because especially after their first running back goes down, the Chiefs love just using 6 dudes. And
okay, sorry.
Why not use Jarek, man? The Jets back there, just let him run, let him go free. So yeah, I was expecting another guy to come in there because the Darrell Williams thing was just going too well, and he wasn't going to be that guy you grab off the waiver wire to win you the league. It's not going to happen. So it was about time. It was just really weird that there's another dude with the last name Gore, which is why you're absolutely right. That's just Frank Gore with a mustache.
My favorite tweet ever now is that guy posted a picture of Frank Gore with a giant fake mustache and was like, Derek Gore is currently leading the Chiefs. Yeah, that's now canon to me. That's now what's happening. Just so you know, that's where we're at.
I mean, that is real, so I get it.
Yeah. Also, Calvin Ridley done. I know that hurts your heart, so I thought I'd rub that in. But follow it right up with a Khalil Herbert looks real. I think you were mentioning him last week as a player you thought looked good. I don't know what that means because they're just numbers on a spreadsheet. Very good-looking dude. No, they're just numbers on a spreadsheet. I don't know any other way players exist. But yeah, his usage last week was like 17 expected points last week, and that was coming off back double weeks. Double-digit expected points week. His usage looks real. Where would you put him value-wise in Dynasty? Because that's the one I ran up against. Like I like Henderson and I like James Robinson still as my 2 top running back buys. I guess Darren Williams and those other D. Henderson and D. Williams is fit in that category. But I'm more interested in them because I believe more they'll sustain at least some level of decent role next year, kind of unexpectedly, or a lot of people will devalue that. Whereas Khalil Herbert, like he also has a draft capital, and he doesn't have kind of hype or awareness, at least in the fantasy world. Do you think he can be that kind of guy next year, though?
It's going to be rough because, I mean, Montgomery is still there. Montgomery is still going to be a thing. He's not going to just be benched. He's not going to get traded. He's not going to.
I hear he's terrible, though.
I mean, his contract, he has 1 more year at least after this one. Wait, right? Yeah, 19, 20. This is 21, and then he has 22. So yeah, so he has 1 more year after this. So I mean, maybe that's when Khalil Herbert season starts. I do think that he's playing well enough that he's going to cut into that David Montgomery 90%, backfield domination. So it may drop to a 70-30, and that 30 will just be Khalil. There will be no sprinkling whatever backups in. I don't care if Damian Williams is healthy. It's just not going to happen anymore. I do think he is making his way into that offense. Is it going to be enough for you to want to play him in fantasy after Montgomery's back? That's rough. The only way I would feel good about... See, here's the thing. The good thing about it
price kind of...
That's what I was going to get to. You don't have to pay first for him.
Yeah, second. And he has volume this year, and there's an outside chance. That's kind of where I'm at.
Yeah, pay a late second, pay a second for Khalil in a third. Hell, try a third just to be like, this dude's going to be trash in 4 weeks when Montgomery comes back anyway. Try, whatever that stuff if it works, because man, there's a chance. There's a chance this guy just takes the... No, I don't know, man. They seem to like Montgomery a lot. So maybe it becomes a 50-50, and just imagine Khalil Herbert with full-on Justin Fields like we saw last week. That's just it's nice to think about. And while David Montgomery is the definition of he's good, Khalil Herbert can be more. And
I really think so. I mean, I'm looking quickly here, but I think he's getting more volume over the last 4 weeks, and in terms of expected points, which is the value of your touches, and that's what makes David Montgomery good, whether people like it or not. Yes. Good enough. But I think he's averaging more per game than Derek Henderson does. I think he's really interesting.
The offense has been getting
1.4 yards per team attempt. Montgomery is at 1.6 before he got hurt.
Well, that was also very, very ugly in the beginning of the season, no less. But I'm not going to pretend to be able to understand how normal coaches think, no less how a coach like Matt Nagy thinks. So I want it to be, I want good football to be on the field. And I think putting Herbert on the field makes good football. So I hope it happens. I don't have super faith in it happening.
Yeah, over the last, 4 weeks, he's been averaging 15 expected points per game. And David Montgomery's this year isn't what it was last year, but he was at 13, all included. But I think that includes his injury game. But I think he's really interesting. But again, just going to have to play the game of, do they draft someone? What happens to David Montgomery? I just think he's got more upside in that might sustain a role, might actually be worth it. Or the team might feel he's worth holding that role.
And they play different enough where they could end up being close to a 50-50 and situationally. And
then you've got a Darrell Henderson and Cam Akers situation, but David Montgomery's even less attractive than Cam Akers. So, yeah, I think it's interesting. Whether you're competing or not is kind of what I'm pushing for here. If you're competing, he makes sense. But if you're not, I still think he's kind of interesting.
Yeah. Okay, so here's the thing. I was just saying before, try for a third, hope to get a second, which I'm not really sure. Unless someone's super, super good and needs a bye week replacement, then they'll just be like, whatever, the 212, you can have it. You can get a third whenever you want for Khalil Herbert, even if you're just going to the Montgomery owner later. So there's no reason to rush out and do it. So if you do think that he could be a thing, he could be someone who eats into Montgomery's work, or halfway through next season, the Bears will just get bored of Montgomery and he's on the last year of his contract and Herbert's going to be the guy. Yeah, man, it's worth it. Just hold on to him, because trading's fun. Getting draft picks is fun. Third's not going to get you anywhere. It's not going to make the difference in anything you do. So if you believe in the guy, hold the guy.
Speaking of, no, I can't segue that at all, but I did mention it. Nice. Calvin Ridley has stepped away from football. I read his personal statement on it and kind of left it at that. It felt like he was trying to say what he had to say, and it felt very closed. There wasn't and I'll be back soon, but he also didn't close that window. Yeah, I think he's doing what he needs to do. I hope he continues to get the support he needs, and I really don't care about fantasy at that point. Yes. But I do get, and we're probably going to continue to get questions of what to do about him on our rosters. Mine is just a hold. I wouldn't be going out and trading for him because there's no real way to read this situation. I don't know. He does not know. That's the problem. And so he just falls to like an upside pick in the same way that like who did I come across yesterday? Not Josh Gordon, because it's a little different than that. I can't think of a player intentionally stepping away in recent history that has come back to
Gronk.
Yeah, but he retired. He didn't say I can't right now. That wasn't.
He kind of did. He retired because he said the injury
he retired
healing
Tom Brady
thing
wasn't there anymore.
I mean, yeah, that's probably the real reason. But what we had was, the hurt related, and the fact that, his way of dealing with pain is still not legal in the NFL.
Yeah, I think just the names that came to mind to me were like Andrew Luck and then Antonio Brown. Like Calvin Ridley's still gonna be good if he comes back. I have no idea if he ever comes back, and I'm probably gonna side on he won't. That's what he said. And if he changes his mind, I'll be happy about that. And I think trying to catch fire with I know better and he will be back, I think it's just a value question, and I wouldn't give up a first-round pick to run that ride, which is way too low for Calvin Ridley, so no one should trade him to me for a second. Which means he's kind of just.
It's once, but someone put in one of my group chats, Calvin Ridley for a second completed, and I cried.
If I'm done and I have roster space to just hold someone like that, sure, but you might be holding a year or two. Like some of the conversations I've been in, they feel like when he's back early this year, and I'm like, no, I don't think he would say this if he's planning. Like it seems like he's at least done for the year,
Yeah, you don't say I'm stepping away from football, and
not say for the next few weeks or
it's not like it's not going to be 6 days,
I'm
man.
done.
Yeah, he's missing a couple of weeks at minimum.
I would just write him off for this season, and
that's kind of where I'm at. I really hope this isn't some power play because he doesn't like the way the Falcons are going, because that would just be shitty about a guy I like.
I don't know about that.
But like after seeing this, someone just asked, thoughts on Michael Thomas. Like Michael Thomas is 1000% just sitting out because he doesn't want to play on the Saints.
Yeah, and even if he's not, it's just an injury. And the Antonio, he's still good. Like everyone wants to write. It's because we like shiny new things, and because we don't like to be the one who feel like they're left holding the bag. And all I can say is I have had tremendous fun and success being the one willing to hold the bag. Like Thelmo and Louise it with Calvin Johnson. Just like, I will go over I don't care.
Cliff,
it has been worth the ride. He is more than paid for this ticket. I'm going over the cliff. And that's why I still had some Antonio Brown shares, and it's working out. Like, just go over. They're still good, is the ultimate line. So yeah. But I guess we should get to the questions. If you're done with me asking you questions, I guess I was going to do OBJ next. Like, I've got no idea why.
All of those
stepping away. I've got no idea what's going on with OBJ. All I can say is there has to be a lot going on in person in these teams to get this level of talk around him. Because everything we hear about OBJ is kind of like pathetic. It makes me think that the people complaining are the ones that are being immature. Like once he kicked a net on the sideline, which is like, okay, Karen. And now it's your dad said something mean about our quarterback online. It's like, okay, you sound like really pathetically immature the minute you're punishing a man for something his dad said on Twitter. Like, so there must be more going on. Yeah. It does, because there's no way that this immature. But it's just funny because everyone groups around it and talks like that's a reason. It's like, if that's the reason, this is pathetic. Like that you would be if you got fired or sat down by your employer because your dad said something they didn't like on Twitter. Like that would be ridiculous. You know what I mean? So this must be backed up with them. And at that point, I have to point out that some of what I call a good player is an ability. Well, all of what I call a good player is an ability to acquire volume, and part of that is your ability to work as a team and get along with your coaches. And whatever it is, because it's certainly not kicking a net or your dad having a rant on Twitter, whatever it is, it seems to be a problem for OBJ. I still think the rest of the talent is probably there, but this continues to be an issue. And that's all I have on that before questions. You got anything?
Nah, we're starting to fall behind. Like we need to scroll already in the comments, so let's get started.
No, this is my secret plan to get to talk to you for at least 3 hours every week, and you keep trying to hurry me along, and it's not
Dude,
going to
I've been
work. I'm
yawning
going
since
to let
before
them
we
keep.
started.
I'm going to keep letting. Okay, all right. Dustin asked before the stream even asked, should he trade Cooks? Apparently, DLF Carp said no on the other DLF stream. There's another DLF stream? I thought we're the only one. I feel so used.
We're the best one.
But looking for a second opinion. I mean, for what?
Never listen to Tyler. Tyler is the worst.
Sucks.
He is not fantastic at this game at all. He is not a great guy at all.
They suck. Don't listen to him.
No, but in this time I think he's kind of wrong.
I do think that's kind of wrong. I'm not holding Cooks just to hold Cooks. I mean, it's a question of what.
You hold Cooks because he's the wide receiver 23 in points per game right now on the worst team in the league. Cooks is one of those players you will never get the dynasty value in for the production value. So is someone offering you 2 seconds for Cooks? I'll take that. Is someone offering you a first? Go. Have him. That's fine. But is someone giving you a second? No, especially if you're competing. You need to help us out a little bit more than this, you know.
I am going to say something which I think is a heuristic, and I've been told is wrong. But John Bosch said something recently that I thought was worth remembering, and that's trades are about the trade, not the timing. And trading Cooks now just feels like I have an extra. It's a good time to sell him because he's getting old. So what can I get? I understand it. Unless you're getting a decent offer, you just keep Cooks.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm calling a heuristic. I go to. It's about the offer. What's the offer? If there's no offer, no, I'm not trading Cooks.
It's funny. The truth is, I honestly have no idea what it is. I just like making fun of you every time you bring it up.
Yeah, it's Adam Harnstead things, which is basically create a slogan that has more meaning underneath it, but you can understand it simply in like a simple sentence, like "Your country needs you." That's kind of a heuristic or a slogan. At least.
My country needs me. I gotta go.
The famous poster. Oh, okay, forget it. Must be a me thing. But yeah, if you get in a first, I just think there's more upside. You can make more trades work with a first than you can with Cooks. So yeah, I'd take a first to make other moves. I wouldn't just trade Cooks to trade Cooks. There's never a good time to trade any player. It's about the offer you can get. And
yeah, especially because you need depth, especially with Chase, Bateman, Moore, Rondell Moore, Corey. Yeah, no. If you're competing, it has to be a good trade because
if the last 2 years haven't taught you anything,
I'm not gonna lie, that's not a super strong wide receiver core.
Yeah, and that depth can really quickly dry up if this.
DJ Moore gets hurt and you're kind of screwed.
I'd kill to start Traquan Smith in some of my leagues right now. So, just saying, depth ain't what it used to be. And also, that doesn't look too deep. That's more future value. If you're competing, you need Cooks. No, that's fine, man. Ask away.
You are the one that said I didn't realize this was a trade show, and then he apologized. So that is your fault.
Oh no, you're good. No, you're good. Yeah, skater question one. Calvin's here from the other DLF lesser stream. We were just talking about how we we shouldn't listen to you, Cal. What's up, gents?
Listen to Cal. Just don't listen to Tyler.
Don't listen to either of them. Let's say you won Derek Gore, and someone is interested in trading for him. What would your opening offer be?
You're gonna be more than a third for Derek for
if they're
Derek
interested, shouldn't they send a trade? But anyway,
he put the quotes on the wrong word. It needs to go on Derek.
It does. Derek Gore.
You're not getting more than a third for Derek Gore. I mean, let's put it out there. I don't care that it's 14 teams and that pushes the pick number for a thirds all the way back. Derek Gore is not going to be a thing like long term. Well, he's been around forever, so I mean. Long in the back, he's a little long in the tooth to keep going forward.
Derek Gore is worth a first. I'm just saying. No, if you can get a second, trade Derek Gore.
Oh god, yes, absolutely, 1,000%. But
keep it for the meme. I mean,
yeah,
I would roster Derek Gore just to have Frank Gore on my team for a few more years. Why not?
No, but I mean, Cal, you should talk to your co-host. He is the king of grabbing dudes off the wire and then getting a fourth and a fifth for him, getting a 2/3 this year, like 1 year, one next year. Like that's his move. That's what he does. He just compiles these low end picks and then does magic and all of a sudden has all the firsts in the next 2 years. So yeah, just take what you can get, man, because you're never going to want to start that. Unless you're Peter this week.
Apparently. Bob Gilchrist, nice to see you. Peterson or McNichols for you guys? Pass. Don't want either of them. They signed Dante Foreman. I noticed he doesn't get all the buzz.
Oh,
I
good.
guess
I didn't even see that. Good for him, man.
Yeah.
You come back from that Achilles tear,
right? I guess Peterson, just because I see McNichols constantly be this guy and never actually be this guy. And Peterson can still carry a workload. I mean, he's not going to be great. He's not Adrian Peterson of old, but I'm team old guy, man. I still think these players are good. So Peterson.
See, the only reason I'm a little in on McNichols is because that offense will not be able to be the same. Like that, the only reason they got the efficient passing game that they've ever had is because you have to put 9 dudes in the box to try and tackle Derrick Henry. That's not going to be the same with Adrian Peterson, who's been on the couch for the past year. So they might have to pass more, in which case McNichols is going to be on the field more.
Do you know who's been facing the highest defenders in the box ratio in the NFL so far?
Adrian Peterson.
Mike Davis. Ha! Take that, Mike Davis haters. Cordero Patterson is helped out by Mike Davis. I don't know that's what's going on, but I thought it was interesting. Someone in my Discord looked it up the other day. I don't have access to those fancy stats. But well, no, I think it's
Patriots
different
things, like when the running back is in, you know they're running, but when James White comes in, you know they're passing.
Except when they run. I think there's a lot of narratives that feed into this. One, Peterson's old and a running back, and we don't think they're good anymore, but he probably is. McNichols has been a constant deep sleeper. And I don't know what's the issue with that guy, because he was productive in college. The best I can figure out from the rookie season is he has trouble figuring out a playbook, man. And I don't think that's going away.
That's fair.
And learning an offense. That's what happened to him that first year. I don't think it's gone away. And yeah, I mean, I saw Addison Hayes, DLF, team represent, talking about if he only has 80% of Henry's workload. I'm like, if anyone has 80% of Henry's workload, you have an amazing workload. But yeah, running backs are what vacated target truthers want vacated targets to be. It's a thing.
Especially running backs, it's not the same. No,
there'll be a workload.
Rushes or whatever you want to call it. That is absolutely not.
It's not going to be Derrick Henry, but there'll be a workload. It's fine. It's replaceable. Think Darrell Williams or whatever Williams we were just talking about. It's fine.
I just want Julio Jones to come back healthy so he can help out with the pass game.
Hey, Connor actually asked about Odell. No idea, but there must be a lot going on behind the scenes because nothing we ever hear about really sounds that bad.
I mean, he's going to end up going to the Texans, and him and
I'm really disappointed. I remember, people talking about so much about how they all went on vacation together this off season and got closer. And I saw a picture of them all laughing. Apparently, that was just for the cameras. I'm just saying. I also think most of that is joke analysis. Like, we don't know. And as professional football players and grown men, I'd freaking hope that stuff doesn't interfere the way you do your job. The Browns are a more run-heavy team, and they do have Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. And I think that's probably why.
Did you read the stuff about Von Miller? Why he got traded?
No. There is some of it. Don't get me wrong. They're also grown-ass, rich, immature adults. But I think for the large part, it's best to assume they're not children. Because we assume they're children a little too much. I mean, yeah, they are, but not quite that extent. But then again, I honestly don't know. That's the ultimate answer. There's clearly something.
I mean, he's going to end up sitting. I mean, that's what it comes down to. Let's talk fantasy-wise. He's not going anywhere. He is just gone. And I think he's still under contract next year.
And I think that's the ultimate answer. Just boil it down to fantasy. This is an issue that keeps persisting. At this point, the NFL is such a boys' organization. Like, I can't imagine what part of his people are telling him this will work well. Because if he is doing this behind the scenes, like what team is ever going to put up with this stuff?
We thought these are $1 billion Brown.
These are $1 billion vanity projects. Like they can literally just say no. And Antonio Brown, he got talked about this.
He legitimately seemed to just lose his mental well-being for a while, and all of a sudden now he seems to be absolutely fine and winning Super Bowls.
No, that to me was, we exaggerated the few things we heard on Twitter, but this seems to be like, if a team is taking action instead of it just being his dad saying something, then there must be more behind it. With Antonio Brown, there never seemed to be that level of it. But maybe I'm wrong. Sure. I mean, there's part of fantasy football and real football, which are these personal relationships and personal individuals we know nothing about. I think speculating it is just folly and believing you know the inner workings of someone else's mind you literally have never met. I don't know the inner workings of my wife's mind, for a start. She's much smarter than me, but like I live with her. I definitely can't guess at the inner workings of someone's mind that I've never met, and their opinion on the inner workings of someone else's mind I never met. It's just, come on, man. It's
just watch Inception and you'll be just as confused.
I will just take he has been persistently unable to accrue volume to himself for several years now. I don't think he's actually less talented, but whatever part of talent is building into that is something that's going to continue to follow him. For a second round pick, like a Calvin Ridley bet, sure. Outside of that, I think I'm done. Third, okay. Third's just not worth anything to me.
Yeah, but there's Odell right now.
Apparently worth to me a little bit more. I don't know. The GOAT. The thoughts on Michael Thomas now. Good play. Stay out of that mess, man. You stay back there. Get for real healthy, and I'll see you later. Trade for him in Dynasty.
Yes, that is the real truth. That he has 1,000% just sat out. That's all this is. He spitefully didn't get surgery in time to come back last year, and he plays half a game, does really well, and then he's like, nah, man, I think I still hurt, and then sat down again. This is 1,000% a power play to not be on the Saints anymore and still accrue towards free agency. So
at this point, it's just an upside bet. He's on team old guy. People discount him because of his age. He's now on team injury, and he's on team, maybe he's Odell Beckham and Allen Robinson with literally none of the noise around him. It's just, I mean, it's not that he'll beat that value. It's that he could decimate it if he comes back and plays.
I was about to say, I think I might try and throw some seconds around to see if I can get Michael Thomas.
Yeah, it's just, yeah. Bob, how you doing, man? Bosch and I were discussing it and treating it, I guess it's a Pitts comment, treating it as a season-ending injury. If your league makes a disgruntled, go get Ridley from them. I mean, not to quote Bosch at Bob and Bosch, but I mean, for what? You know, I don't think there's a first value in that. I'm not going to bet on... I'd rather he doesn't come back. It's not a fantasy football thing for me anymore. It's like, yeah, if I can get him for a second, because there's a real chance he shouldn't come back, let alone he won't.
Yes.
And
the thing is,
yeah, I'm just done.
I get it. Super biased answer coming from me, but I'm not trading him for a second at this point, because like we were just talking about with Michael Thomas, the upside of what he can be if he does come back. Like, let's pretend the dude goes,
it. Yeah.
Let's pretend the dude goes to therapy, takes a couple of months to work on himself, comes back in the off season, and he's Calvin Ridley again. I mean, that's, again, so maybe Bob's a little bit right, at least for now.
He definitely is right. It's just, it's one of those ones that's a value question. Like Michael Thomas, I'm not scared of what they're asking for.
You have to be like an almost daredevil to take the risk of paying Calvin Ridley prices to go get Calvin Ridley. If you can get him for a second, more power to you. If you're going to pay a first plus, I don't even know if I'm willing to do that right now.
Yeah, but that's in and around there. Yeah, sure. I get Calvin Ridley, but I don't guess at physical injuries. I'm not going to guess at mental injuries.
Oh, no, yeah, no.
As a rebuilding team, what do you think would be a good price for Henderson? First round pick.
Easy enough.
Trade him away for first.
Yeah. Trade for him for a first, whatever makes you happy.
Yeah. And either side wins in that scenario. If you can get more for it, get more by all means. But that would be my line. If someone offered me a first, I wouldn't quibble over it too much. Ways of Glory, welcome back. During last week's show, I offered Ridley's owner a first and Brian Edwards. He rejected it immediately and countered Jamar Chase in the first and flamed me in the group chat. Yeah, that guy.
Well, don't get me wrong. A first and Brian Edwards, I still wouldn't. No, because that's a first plus. Like I was just
talking, but
because I mean, what is Brian Edwards these days? A third, you know. So, well, again, I would reject that. I mean, don't be a dick and ask for Jamar Chase in a first. There's no need for that. And then, especially to go into the group chat about it, that guy's a jerk. But
I don't mind Bob's idea of just treating it like any other injury. It's just I happen to know that mental they're not the same.
Yeah, not at all. Yeah,
can't treat in the same way. But it is a fine strategy to employ, in which case a first and Brian Edwards is a great offer. Jamar Chase and a first is literally just seems like a counter to...
Yes, to be a dick about it.
Yeah. Yeah, at which point out that you drafted Jamar Chase, so maybe he should fucking listen to you because you clearly know more than he does.
Yeah.
You got the right pick. So thoughts on Henderson going forward into the next year when Akers returns? Yeah, I'll go back to what I was saying this offseason, which may or may not have turned out to be right. We have no idea. I think it's more of a 70-30 split. I think Henderson has value. I think Cam Akers is the one. I think they want him to be the one. So like a discount Chubb Kamara split would be where I'm at.
Well, I mean,
I think he still has value there. He's startable. He has usable weeks. He's a decent player.
Well, there's a lot of assumptions going on in this. Akers coming back, what he used to be, and that Akers is going to walk into a majority of the touches. Okay, Akers is going to play again. I mean, so I guess that's not really an assumption. He's going to come back to the NFL. Is he going to be close to what he was? There's zero way of knowing until it happens. We have very few examples of this happening before, and the examples we have not been great. But we've never had someone of Akers level and blah, 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 that kind of stuff. But here's my thing. The Rams have used Henderson as a workhorse. They have not gone and gotten anyone else worthwhile. Sony Michel doesn't touch the ball when Henderson is healthy.
Mm-hmm.
So there's no reason to believe Akers comes back next year and walks into a workhorse role. There's no reason to think that. So Henderson absolutely has value, especially because it's not like Stafford's on a 1-year deal. They're going to have this offense again next year. So they're going to be good again, in which case it's awesome to have multiple good running backs. Well, Henderson, if Akers is good again, won't be a workhorse back. He'll still have a split in a very good offense, and that's what you're looking for with running backs.
I think that's what some might miss. The fact that Sony doesn't co-opt touches, even though running back volume is given and the Rams have shown a tendency to split the workload, it's because that tendency has been based on the fact Darren Henderson's actually pretty good. They like using him.
I mean, they even use
so like the median low outcome for me is Henderson having a decent role.
Yeah.
And that's why I'd be interested. But yeah. We're agreeing just vocally at each other. Flustine. Again, a better name than me. I kind of hate you. 10-team Superflex. God, the abbreviation. Half point PPR. Just got offered a first, a second in 2023, and a first and a second in 2022 for Swift. Yeah.
If you're competing, why you don't trade for picks? Let me just say that.
Yeah, but this is a...
Especially
now, part of me wants to say you can take those first, flip them for Robinson and Henderson and still be competitive, but it's just not enough. It's just that's what Swift is about worth. And I'm competing right now, so I don't need to trade him away. And also, I don't think ETN gets that job anymore.
No. I mean, if you're telling me you can't start all of Swift, Harris, Zeke, and Mixon, which I can't think of a league where you can't start 4 running backs, then maybe we think about it. But also, I say we think about it with a different offer. While the 2 firsts and 2 seconds is probably an okay value, no, I'm going to lie. No, a first this year, first next year. No, that's not enough. Swift is a top 3 running back in ADP. That's what it is right now. You should be getting more than that. Even if it was all this coming year, I still wouldn't be thrilled about it because I hate trading away studs just for picks, especially when you're competing. And especially if you are not in an active league where you could then turn those picks into something else, like Peter was just saying. The more I talk, the more I just don't want this.
No, Swift is a top 3 running back for the rest of the season. Like, he's one of 3 running backs with a 20% expected point share on his offense and also 18 expected points a game. Like, he's top 3 for me. If I were to guess at the rest of the year, the other 2 are Harris and Kamara. And it's not that elite tier below them isn't great. It's just that Swift is the value there. I would say, just to maybe offer it, like, if you're starting Swift and, freaking no one. And running back 2, you might be better off starting Mixon and Zeke and using Hunt at flex to compete this year. So I would honestly check out how that would affect your points per game. See what your points per game is with Swift, with 18 expected points a game, and then Mixon, Hunt, and Zeke, all starting for you. Because if you've got nothing else at flex and nothing else at running back 2, that could in fact improve your points per game, in which case it kind of makes sense. But just on the face of it, as presented here, no, Swift is the player I want.
Especially because I'm an idiot and I saw Harris and just assumed Najee, but there's a D in front of there, and that's Damian Harris, in which case I absolutely want to keep on to Swift.
Forget what I said. I thought that was part of the trade. He's just saying those are the other running backs he's got. No, just play Swift. You've got a great flex decision every week. Like, again, did I mention the flex decisions I'm making? Just go win that league. It's fine.
just You're overthinking it.
Like, I play with a lot of players that are good. Not me, but a lot of people in my leagues are good, and they do not have a chance to win every year. I think we overrate that opportunity. Just go win it, and then worry about next year. If you can really win it, just go win it.
Just go win it.
Hey, now, any thoughts on Jacksonville wide receiver Agnew or Arnold? Not really. Honestly, no. I don't look at Jacksonville skill position players at this point. They've had some usage recently, but they've been playing well, sustainable this year. How about for Dynasty? I don't think anything in Jacksonville sustainable except James Robinson right now. That's my
Arnold in a very, very crappy tight end landscape. Arnold is part of that group of guys that can get you 4 points, can get you 16 points on any given week, which is what you need at some point or another. So yeah, he's worth a roster spot, and you're never thrilled to play him, but you can. Agnew, no. If your league gives you return yardage points, and especially if it gives you heavy return yardage points, Agnew has a lot more attractiveness, I guess. Attraction. There you go. But still, I don't feel good about it.
He's
Arnold, and then Dynasty, neither of them.
He's had 2 games over like 17 expected points per game in the last 5 weeks. That's probably why he's asking. He had 1 over 9. The other one was 2. He looks like a player the Jags are turning to because they can't use most of their weapons because this team is struggling.
It's terrible. Yes, that is 1,000% what it is.
This isn't a comment on the player. I'd roster him. I'd even flex him sometimes. But if I get a decent trade offer because someone thinks there's more there, I wouldn't say no to it. And that's from a guy who loves 6th-round picks drafted in 2017. That's fine. Not particularly the year. I just happen to have that pulled up as well. I just love 6th-round picks. I love lower drafted players. I just, fade the over. Connell LaPlante, how you doing, bud? Maybe they'll cut Aldell and he'll go to Tampa Bay or New England or all the other
funny, like
wish lists.
Tampa Bay has become the new New England. It was just a go there with Brady thing, right? Yeah.
Maybe wake me up when something happens. This is the Deshaun Watson situation for me. I think you're just taking up valuable time. Not you, but everyone talking about what could happen, what may be happening. You're just making me feel tired. I got a lot of stuff to read and figure out that doesn't involve speculating and stuff we can't possibly know. Something happens,
haircuts,
maybe. But at this point, I really mean, and this is coming from someone who's consistently said he's worth a first over the last few years. The signal now to me is whatever factor it is, and I do not think it's physical talent, but the part of it that includes personal relationships and not what we hear, but something's going on, and he's been consistently unable to earn volume. And that's what I would listen to. So even if he moves, I have to believe he'll remain consistently unable to earn volume, whatever's going on. It's a weird one. Consider, like, even Allen Robinson, for example, is co-opting more volume, even Donald Mooney kind of leading the team there. Despite struggling in fantasy, like he's still showing that he's capable. As Odell Beckham's been on the field, he's running routes, he can't grab the targets, whatever is filtering into that stoppage. I mean, I have to assume it follows him now. Flustein, consider countering to get Burrow, Swift straight up. Okay, we have to. Is this a super flex?
10-team super flex? No. In 10-team, running back is so much more important than quarterback.
Yep. And also so is Burrow. Let me see. The gray area. DJ Moore owner really wants Deontay. He should. He's top 12 expected points. Like, this is something I have I have come to terms with it. Deontay's been fantastic 2 years in a row now, and I still love Juju Smith-Schuster, but I missed on Deontay like entirely. Don't have any claim, and don't have him rostered anywhere because I like Juju so much. And it's a lesson I have to learn from this season. Deontay's been really impressive. He's underperforming that volume, and I think that's just an offense problem, but he's been really impressive.
Still wide receiver 12 points per game.
But the thing is, DJ Moore's also in that top 12, so I don't mind looking there for value.
Wide receiver 17 points per game.
If you, sorry, you made me lose track. Yeah. I don't like same position trades, but if someone's going to take two players I like just as well and give me value on one of them,
value-wise, you should be able to get Deontay Plus for DJ Moore still. I firmly believe that, and if you could do that, I do that. Just because, like we just said.
Let's ask it simply, though, because this is kind of what he's facing. Which would you rather straight up, Moore or Deontay? I choose Moore.
DJ Moore so much.
I know.
That it's one of those things where we just hold on, right? Because of what they could be, what they should be, what they've shown they can be.
Both of those guys,
and we hate Jarvis Landry, so we hate Deontay Johnson. It's rough. That's what it comes down to, like that, and it's that bias is tough to get past. So honestly, straight up, I still want DJ Moore. I can't get past it.
But I would still rank Moore higher, despite saying that Deontay should be very much in the same tier at this point, and he's not, which makes me think that if you can get more for Deontay, you do it just because there's a little extra value there, unfairly, but it's there.
It's almost completely exactly reversed. I have DLF's October ADP because November just started, where Deontay Johnson is wide receiver 17, DJ Moore wide receiver 10.
Okay. So there you go. Yeah. Both of these players should be valued incredibly similarly. They look like better players than their situations will allow.
Especially as Sam Darnold around, I think they will meet up in the middle there somewhere.
Probably. And so you're just hoping the situation improves, because the situation can change, and both of these players have shown us enough to know that the players are good. The players are incredibly good. Twin Caliber UK. Hello, UK man. Let's see. God, it must be late for you, right? I'm trying to shift Fournette at present. What price do you think is fair, or do you think trade for someone like Michael Thomas? Trade for someone like Michael Thomas.
If you can do Fournette for Michael Thomas, I do that pretty easily.
Yeah. I don't honestly. Even if I'm competing, Fournette's an amazing asset this year. He came at value. He's scoring points. He's on a great offense. Even if you're competing, though, trading him away for something like Michael Thomas is a good dynasty move, even when competing, just because, again, Michael Thomas can and should smash that expectation from where his value is right now.
From a cost, Fournette's pretty awesome, but his points are pretty replaceable.
That's kind of what I mean. Like, he's an amazing value, but it's replaceable running back value. Weirdly, he does have upside though on that offense. But yeah. Just stick with that. Don't say more, Pete. The gray area. Where am I? Real building, 14 team PPR 0.5 dynasty F.
Nice.
5 first round picks. Okay. So I can give up Tony and a late first and maybe Dylan.
Wait, go back. What was he talking about?
I don't know. Kadarius Toney. I think he wants to trade Kadarius Toney away for a late first. For Dylan?
No, because he's saying
Dylan. Who you're trading for would be the question.
That's the question. Yeah, this is like half a question.
Yeah. I can give you like the list of players I would target. Michael Thomas is on it. Team All Guy is on it. Amari Cooper is on there. Outside of that, you got the big Dynasty 3 right now. The most valuable players this offseason are going to be Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, and I think CeeDee Lamb by the time the season ends.
He's the DJ Moore guy.
Ultimately, those are the 3 I'm trying to trade up. Where their value is pretty much almost already there, I'm going down to Terry McLaurin, DJ Moore, or the old guys like Amari Cooper. Like who did we just mention? Michael Thomas, and so on and so forth. So if you're just asking for a list of players, that would be where I'd start trying to send offers, and I would definitely do that.
I think he's asking, should he give up a first Tony and maybe AJ Dillon for DJ Moore?
For DJ Moore, yes, I would do that. He was on the list. So yeah. Jared Goodman. What do you think I can get for Henderson? First, popular question. And again, the reason that's the answer is it's a good trade for both teams. If you want Henderson's points, first is fair value. And if you want to just get out because you're not winning, first is fair value.
Mm-hmm.
And if you want to be really spicy, I think 2023 picks are going to be more valuable. I think they're going to be as valuable as 22 picks by the time the 2022 draft comes around. Well, right now.
So you can always ask one of those. Equal at this point, yeah.
Because by the time the draft comes around, you could probably get a first this year plus a second next year for your first next year, if that made sense.
It makes perfect sense.
Just switch it out for a 23 first. I actually think there's going to be a little bit of value there, even though it's the same thing. Jared Goodman, what do you think I can get for Henderson? I think I just read this, didn't I? You're rebuilding. Thing. No, he added rebuilding.
Keep going.
Okay. I just read this. Zach C. traded last night a third for Golladay and received a 2012.
The whole year?
You received like the whole class?
Good for you, man.
That's killing it. No, let me see here. He's probably saying traded 2022 third. And
no, go down 2. He typed the whole thing out.
Let's see. A 2022 third and got Golladay, Ridley.
A third and Golladay for Ridley and a fourth. Jeez. Yes, okay, absolutely sends a third and Golladay for Ridley and a fourth. 1,000%. Yes.
I mean, those kind of trades that get done that are just kind of head scratchers. I wouldn't think to send them, but they're wins. I have Diggs, Bateman, Corey Davis, Judy, AB. I like your wide receiver players. Yeah, I like all those players. Superflex 0.5 PPR, teams 2 and 6. Ouch. Better than some of my teams, man, just in case you want to feel good. QBS, Josh Allen, Herbert, Mac, Tua.
Nice.
Jefferson, Waddle. Why are you 2 and 6?
I love it.
Devontae's great. Are you?
No, this is a very good roster, but it's not a very high scoring roster.
Yeah, I see it. Yeah. Like Devontae is your best running back. You're waiting on him. CH Carter. Okay, well, Carter's
got a little horrible answer, and I'm sorry for giving it.
What should I do?
Be patient. I hate it, but oh my God, you have such a solid you have 2 top 3 quarterbacks plus Mac and Tua. You have arguably the wide receiver one. I love Jalen Waddle. Devonta Smith, we talked about last week, is very good and can get so much better. Rondale Moore is insanely talented, and every year goes by, Hopkins and Green get older, and Rondale stays the same age. It's weird. And then Javonte Williams, we also talked about last week, can be that guy over there. And I love Michael Carter. I am all in on Michael Carter. And so you have such a solid young. So here's the end hoc. Here's my thing. When I come into teams where I have like 4 draft picks, like 4 first rounders, I kind of go half and half. Like that's always my goal. I'll trade 2 and draft 2. It's a little too early now to make that decision of which to trade away, because I feel like there's still so much left of the season that what seems like early can be late. What seems like late can be middle. I mean, it's a very weird time still because you have a very solid roster, but you're still 2 and 6. I would be patient. I would not do anything crazy right now. I hate that I'm saying this out loud, but I don't have any better advice. I think it's a bad move to go and pay for points right now. You're super behind the 8 ball already, only having 2 wins right now. Plus, if you can hit, again, it's tough to hit on first round picks, which is why find the area you want your picks to be and trade the other 2. And then improve your roster that way. But doing it for points right now seems like the wrong move.
Okay, now the guy with the crazy behind his eyes. Go win! No, I am a little crazy, but I do think what Russ is saying is right. But while there's always a little crazy in my thinking, looking at your roster, here's the names that stand out to me. Waddle, Devonta, Carter, and Dillon. You could go either way with it. You could try and get win now, and those first. You could try and get win now players. You honestly could try and turn this season into a winning season, because those QBs are for real, and your wide receiver core, just with Jefferson, everyone else is kind of tradable. And you could really make a roster here. but where you're already 2-6, Russ is right. The sensible thing would be to wait. But even if you don't want to,
you can still make moves now.
That's
but
what I'm saying. If you just pick the names off there that you think are at like a good value, you think they're well valued, but they're not your ideal players, are not the elite level. And so for me, that would be Waddle. I think he's very well valued right now, and rightly so. I also think Devontae, maybe, probably not, but definitely Michael Carter and AJ Dillon. I value them where they're at, and those firsts. And I would try, if you don't want to compete for this year, go trade for some of those older guys we've mentioned. Try and see what you can get Michael Thomas for, what you can get Christian McCaffrey for. If there are teams with those players on their roster who are also competing and are actually 6-2 right now instead of 2-6, they might be willing to trade them away. And you're keeping that core, incredible core, that youth, and adding some value at a slightly older age. That means you should dominate next year and you don't have to keep playing the weight game. You might not get those trades. It might not be available, but that's the sensible way of being slightly crazy. Take some of those good players below your core and try and trade them up into those older, slightly devalued assets if they're on the right teams because they're competing this year. That'd be kind of what I'd explore. Where's Christian McCaffrey? Where's Michael Thomas? Where are these older players? Saquon Barkley, that I still think are going to be good next year, maybe slightly discounted. And so someone will be interested. They should be interested in a Waddle. They should be interested in a Carter. They should be interested in AJ Dillon if they're making a push. Plus, you can throw first around if you feel like it. You don't have to, but if you feel like it, you can. To trade up into some of those players. Does that sound sensible but also crazy? Because that's kind of where I live.
Yeah, no, that's right in your wheelhouse right there. But also having 4 quarterbacks is an insane luxury that I can't live with.
Yeah, you don't need, yeah.
So honestly,
Patrick Mahomes sucks now. Everyone thinks Patrick Mahomes sucks now. I messaged all my leagues to tell them.
I thought that was normal. Like I thought that was just like fact.
No, I went into the DMs of all my leagues and was like, I've been told Patrick Mahomes sucks. Just in case you're all stupid, I will take him off your hands. And not one of them said yes. There wasn't a single person out there
ungrateful
like,
bastards, all of them.
Yeah, no, I was willing to help him out, but there is some concern about Patrick Mahomes right now. You could take one of those quarterbacks, one of those first, and throw in a fucking great receiver like Waddle, and maybe be facing next year with Herbert, Allen, and Mahomes.
Oh my God, that would make me want to cry having the 3.
I mean, probably not. The person in your league is probably not a moron.
But like you have the right idea though. Okay, so you keep Allen and Herbert. Keep Allen and Herbert. Yeah. Assuming that this is 12 teams. If it's less, then just pick one and trade them away.
I love Tua and Mac. He's great.
See, Mac is
Tua, but
safe. That's the thing. I love Tua. So, but here's the thing. They're sadly probably valued pretty similarly, which I think Tua should be much higher. Find someone who's hurting at quarterback or find a rebuilding team that has that one random dude on there that they probably shouldn't have and offer them Mac and Tua or even be willing to throw a first on. I pulled up our Superflex ADP on DLF is still a little behind. It's September's, but Mac Jones is right next to Terry McLaurin. Like if you can go trade Mac Jones and Brandon Ayuk or Mac Jones and CEH,
Ayuk's undervalued right now, but
that's fine. I don't care. Get rid of him. Like if you can trade Mac and another piece to go get Terry freaking McLaurin, go do that. I don't care that he's like 26, 27 at this point. Or it will be next year when you're going to be competing. He's so good. And like, imagine if they actually get a quarterback, like there's still plenty of moves you can do. I'm jumping ahead. Shut up, you homer, Bob. So yes, there's so many moves you can make right now. Just don't get overexcited with how pretty your roster is and like go buy Adam Thielen and Antonio Brown and AJ Green.
I also feel like Jackson here, though. I mean, I've been in the situation where I'm following the advice. I've got all these good young players, and I'm not winning, man. What do I do now? And honestly, it's the reason like idiots like me are constantly talking about old guys. The killer part of that is you want to keep those young guys, but you're gonna have to get some old guys that score points. And right now, they're coming at value with CMH and Barkley. If you want to look at next year, you're like in luck.
Yeah, see, like if this was 3 weeks ago and you were 2-3 or 2-4, 2-6 is such a rough spot to come back from unless you have a good league where like the last 2 seeds are by points and you think you can catch up to that, then yeah, maybe you try a little harder to go for it. But I really don't think you rock this kind of core for like a Hail Mary to get into the playoffs just to lose the first round.
Yeah, look at your all play. If the first, second, and third team isn't like 80% and above, isn't like 60%, is around 60%, then it's probably not worth making a run. Like 2 weeks ago, we were actually here saying like trade for, and that's what we'd be saying now. Trade for Henderson, trade for Robinson, use that depth, go win. 2 and 6, it's just, I don't know how your league works, but you could even be kept out the playoffs because of your record, even if you do really well from this point. And so that's why I'm like, unfortunately, as sucky as it is, as good of it, and you can also ignore us because you're clearly acquiring the right players.
You're doing something right, man. You're that's awesome. Like, I don't know if I have many rosters that look like that.
But I do think maybe consider adding all guys. If not now, then for next year, because you're gonna need
next
year.
Absolutely, push next year, man. Because you got it.
And these young players fall off so much quicker than we like to think. And also slower. It's weird. Accepted a trade last night. A 2020 third for is this the third time?
We definitely did this already.
All right. Ridley Truther. Hey, man. Hey, gents. Week from hell. It really is. I'm sorry. This is a bipocalypse. I don't care what anyone says. I'm in a 12-team Superflex league, rebuilding 1 and 2 years out. Don't think that way. Do you trade for Henderson for a 2020 first or hold for a 2020 second as Acres Insurance? Henderson is worth a first, any single first. I will say that to start with. If you're rebuilding, I'm not buying my backup 2 years out, no.
Well,
but he is worth a first.
I'm reading this like he has Acres on his team already.
Yeah,
like
and he wants to buy Henderson in advance. I'm like, wait till the offseason. He'll be cheaper if that's your reason.
Yeah, and if you're 2 years out and you can get a 23 first for Henderson, then go for it.
Yeah. I really Truther. You come on here and talk a lot, so appreciate that. The gray area, I'm the DJ Moore guy. Hello, DJ Moore guy. I think you'll find Russ is the DJ Moore guy, but we're allowed to be like DJ Moore acolytes. I think that's the rule. Zexy, Ridley, sorry, no problem, man. Okay, well, you answered my question. Just accept it. Okay. I actually offered Elijah Moore, not Brian Edwards. Elijah Moore is a much heftier price.
Oh man, Elijah Moore in a first would make me think.
Yeah,
I still don't think I do it just because that's me. That is my bias, but that's a very good offer.
I would have taken it
for now. Yeah.
Dalen Fields, hey guys, do you trade or keep or trade Mitchell? I don't think I should be the ones reading the question, Russ. Like I kind of suck at this.
You want me to do it? I'll do it. Let's do it. I host everything else I do. I'll do it.
Go.
Hey guys, Nope, can't do it. You're up.
All right. Do I keep or trade Mitchell for more assets if I'm rebuilding in a 12-team PPR dynasty? Other than running backs, Javonte, Drake, Chuba, Sermon, Hines, I'm 4-4.
I trade Mitchell. No running back in recent history has seemed to survive in San Francisco. And Elijah Mitchell constantly has that Q next to his name. And he's not like putting up 23 points every single week or anything. If you can get a first for Mitchell, especially on a rebuilding team, I do that in a heartbeat.
Yeah,
if we're talking,
I don't think you can though, right?
Throw in Chuba. I mean, do whatever you can to try and.
That's what I was going to add. Like Javonte is the only person on this list I'd be keeping for the future. So
yes,
I would
1,000%.
Why are they on your roster?
You have Sermon. Mitchell and Sermon for a first and a third.
Yeah, sure. Trade Sermon for a ham sandwich. Hines, I love Hines. Trade him for a ham sandwich. Chuba, if you can get a second, trade him. Drake, if whatever, a ham sandwich and a pickle.
For Hines, hold out for ham and cheese.
That's true. I do love Hines. Ask for cheese on that ham sandwich. But no, I would trade for whatever deep picks I can for anyone outside of Javonte on this roster.
Hold Javonte. Everyone else is expendable.
Unless Javonte breaks out this week, and he could, but Melvin Gordon's still good, and you're starting Mitchell and Javonte into the final, and even then you're racing week to week. You kind of got to win every week. You can push. Depends on what your league looks like. Go look at your all play. Honestly, assess the rest of your team. But honestly, just as a guess, it's trade these for whatever second and third round picks you can get and try and hang on to Javonte. That would be my guess. But see how you feel. Look over your league. I think Russ is frozen. Yeah, Russ is frozen.
No, I'm cheating and I'm reading ahead.
Michael Carter and Dynasty are first at this point.
You're not getting him for less, and you
right
shouldn't.
after that game, and people talking
he
about
has
how
what,
he's an
2-3
Alvin
straight
Kamara
games?
workload, and
Yeah, he has 2-3 straight games of 14 to 16 points on a crap offense. So
lots
if
of
that
us
offense
loved
ever
him
starts to get better,
pre-draft. He was if you're not stupid and like Trey Sermon, you like Michael Carter, there's enough hype built around him, in other words, to sustain it. Yeah, he's a first. Which is kind of highlighting how crazy it is. You can get Henderson and James Robinson, that top 12 pace. I mean, running back value is kind of crazy. Most situations I'm trading Carter away, even though I really like him for that.
Yeah,
value.
I'm holding on to. I mean,
I think he's good, but I think
I
it's
like him
kind
too
of
much.
exaggerated. That's fine. I don't think many people are willing to price it that way, if you know what I mean. If they're
Let's put it this way,
buying.
I'm talking about how much I like Michael Carter. I don't think I'd pay a first for him right now. I'm not ready to do it yet.
Hey guys, love the show. Wow, I appreciate
Thanks,
that.
Jason.
In that case, I'll read you in a cleared voice. We're giving a Pittman for Ridley be too big of a risk. Yeah. For me, it is, but I've already said I'm taking the low side just because it just feels like he needs to be away.
Pittman's also doing really freaking well, so I don't think you.
I would trade Pittman in a heartbeat. Don't at me, Zach Reed. I just would. I think he's good. I think the upside is what you're seeing now, and I think people will pay more for it because it's new. But Ridley's, no.
I hold on to Pittman right now just because he's playing well enough right now. Chances are in the offseason, the Colts are going to either acquire or highly draft a wide receiver because they have Michael Pittman and they have no one. Wanted Paris Campbell to be a thing, not going to happen. T.Y. Hilton is a ghost, like he calls himself. So like they are absolutely bringing in more pass catchers, and that will hurt Pittman's value. But I still think Pittman's that good. So if you can get more than a first for Pittman, yeah, I guess maybe trade him away. Like I'm in a league in I'm trying to get Pittman just because I'm bored, and the dude wants 2 firsts for him, and I'm just like, part of me gets that. Part of me wants to call you a crazy person.
Yeah, Pittman right now is like wide receiver 11 in seasonal PPR points, but his expected points rank is like 16. I think he's going to come down a little bit. I just think he's a top 24 wide receiver. Better than I saw coming, for sure, but not quite as good as some people are willing to believe right now. Having said that, Ridley might well be nothing. I'm trying to find like an equivalent player that I would value him like, just because Michael Pittman makes me trigger a Zach Reed vibe, and I can't think straight.
I mean, do you want to go down list? Wait, are you talking about for Ridley or for?
No, I'm just trying to find a player I value similarly without the connotation, but I can't do it quickly. So I should
to
probably
Pittman or to
Pittman
or to. Of course, I got signed.
See, that's the thing. Everyone he's around, I would value over Pittman. I might value Marcus Brown more than him. CeeDee Lamb for sure. DeAndre Hopkins, yes. Terry McLaurin, Mike Williams, Brandon Cooks. Okay, I'd value Pittman over Cooks. So I'd probably value him like that. But I'm still not trading you. No, Pittman's more than Cooks.
Man, October ADP has Pittman at 35, wide receiver 35.
Yeah, that's the thing. He's kind of undervalued, but kind of, I think whoever likes him in your league likes him more than that, if you know what I mean.
Pittman or Devonta Smith?
Smith.
Debo,
get out of here.
Again, he'll go higher in the next ADP. Cortland Sutton.
Yeah, see, Sutton.
Tyler Lockett.
Definitely.
Yeah. Michael Thomas.
Ask me silly questions. Michael Thomas. You see what I mean? I think no.
Jalen Waddle.
Okay, that's fair.
Okay, so that's a wide receiver 29. Juju, knowing that Juju is out for the season.
Juju's going to go down. And also, yeah, Juju should be valued lower than these guys, even though I like him more.
Ayuk, Bateman, Rondell Moore, Brandon Cooks, Michael Pittman. Like that's what's left in there.
Yeah, I put Pittman on the bottom of that list. I just couldn't find a quick example to do a synonym for here. Yeah, I wouldn't do the trade.
No, yeah.
Automatically. Pittman's
short story, way too long. No.
Mm-hmm. Too long, didn't read. Jason Breerhost, just guessing here, dude. Sorry. Roster is quarterback. Oh, this is the same guy.
Oh, this was going back to the other one. It doesn't matter. The answer
doesn't matter. It's just for me, no. You can, because Ridley could honestly smash that, but I just just don't take that risk. I'm risk averse. I'm a little coward. Just let me be a cowardly person. 10-team Superflex half-point win now. Advice to win now. Russ, Big Ben, Darnold, trade Big Ben away. Darnold, Mac, Swift, trade Darnold away for that matter. Even winning now, trade him for what you can get to help win. Swift, Mixon, Zeke, Damian Harris.
Damian Harris,
yeah. ETN, trade ETN away. Hunt,
yep.
That's someone you should be starting every week. CD Lamb, that's awesome. Jamar Chase, okay. Mike Williams.
God.
Your wide receivers are stoked.
Oh my God.
Christ. Mark Andrews just thrown on the top there. You get a receiving. Unfortunately, Henry, I'm guessing, is Derrick Henry, so he's out for the season.
No, I'm guessing that's Hunter Henry because he's
really
tight ends.
Yeah, I know, but it just seems weird. Just right,
like what Henry makes me think of Derrick. I know it's 10 teams, so a lot of people are going to be safer at quarterback than most teams in other leagues. But try and see if you can do either Big Ben and Darnold and ETN and upgrade somewhere. I mean, even if it's
he needs to upgrade his quarterbacks.
Yeah, his running backs starting Russ and Mac isn't really necessarily the greatest thing.
Mixon, Zeke, and Hunt are a great streamer. Your wide receivers, as we talked about, just get out of here with your show offness. But Russ isn't going to have that upside. It's the second half of the season now. And
you make a good point.
That's where you can improve, I think.
Package up a couple of quarterbacks, throw in ETN and something else. And, try and go nuts at quarterback. Try and get Lamar. Try and get Herbert.
Yeah, do it in that order as well. You go after Mahomes, you go after Kyle Murray, you go
start
after
at the top and
Herbert,
go down. Yes.
And then you might have to come down to the unfortunate case, who I still am rooting for, Jalen Hurts. He's the other guy putting up 25 to 30 points a game.
But there's really so much more to his value.
You're winning now. That's the guy who's
there's
probably
a chance
cheapest.
He doesn't start the rest of the season. That's the problem because the Eagles are insane.
If it's not Jalen Hurts looking for 25 points plus a game, then it's Tua. I think he's the other guy who might be an underhorse candidate to do it this year.
I love Tua, so I'm there for it.
Yeah. But that's where, honestly, that if I was looking at the roster, I'm like, where I need to improve this quarterback. That's what
and honestly, I'm not an Andrews guy, so moving up to...
He's good.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Just not a fan.
I'm fine. But yeah, that's fine. You can give up tight end to move up a quarterback as well if you really have to.
Yeah,
Henry
absolutely.
is fine.
But super solid roster.
But I don't think you have to. If you put Darnold with ETN to a losing team with a better quarterback, pair him with Russ, that improves your points per game. It's probably the quickest way.
Especially go get Brady. Go get
Brady. Why didn't I think of that first? Get Brady.
I mean, Rodgers is whatever he is, but go get some old dude who's scoring points.
Go get Brady.
Quarterbacks play forever.
Rodgers probably isn't going to start for the next 2 weeks, and
that's why I said it is whatever.
So it's probably Brady.
Maybe not him. I was trying to think about who's the next oldest guy, but I don't want Matt Ryan really.
No.
So,
and he's not putting up that points per game.
Exactly. That's why I don't really want him. Mm-hmm. So, but I don't try and look for the most valuable guy. Just look for the guy that's scoring the most points because
that's when
you'll be able to figure it out.
Everyone else in your squad has the highest range of outcomes every week. Andrews has that tight end one.
He showed that he can. Yeah.
Tyreek Hill, Mike Williams, Jamar Chase, and CeeDee Lamb all have the wide receiver one in their outcomes. Even your running backs can easily finish running back 1 to 3 every week. It's only your quarterbacks that seem like there's an edge there. The rest is just hit it and hope.
Perfectly.
You can't project exactly who's going to finish, and so the only place you can raise your expected outcomes is really quarterback. That would be my best.
So smart.
I just
say thank you and move on.
I didn't like that.
Too bad.
Tim W. Is Mike Williams playable this week? He should be doing a lot better than Robbie Anderson. He should be. But the last 2 weeks are discreet. Yeah, Mike.
So
I can't. I told you so. I just can't. Because honestly, I thought it was for real after 3 weeks. And so even I was like, okay, I guess it's not Keenan Allen. But
3 weeks. It's been 6. Okay.
That's what I mean. After 3 weeks, I kind of admitted that Mike Williams wasn't going to back down. And then he did. So I got it wrong
2
twice.
Weeks ago, he was a game time decision to expect him to play at wide receiver 2 levels that he was, it was a little unrealistic, and the entire offense looked bad last game. So I don't really think that's super fair to jump into either. Do you wait? No, wait's the wrong word. If you play him, do you expect the wide receiver to lower your expectations a bit? But it's still a very good wide receiver on a very good team with a very good quarterback. Stop shaking your head. Start Mike Williams over Robbie Anderson.
I'm just planning to skip over Bob. And what I would say is Mike Williams' usage has changed over the last 3 weeks. It's not just his fantasy points, and it's not just his expected points. Where they're playing him has changed. Having said that, Keenan Allen was the most consistent usage wide receiver throughout all of it. Why I still thought he was the
5 years.
But 2 of those 3 matchups I actually called accurately as down games, and it wasn't because of some genius. It's because the offense he's been facing had specifically been limiting the deep A-dot guy. That's the only way I caught it. So I think it's a little over-exaggerated. Definitely start him this week, depending on what your options are. Definitely starting over Robbie Anderson.
Yes.
So I don't think he's done for the season. Like, I still think he's going to score points. Because his usage has changed, he's probably going to be a little more up and down than he was in weeks 1 to 6. But this has been an impressive season for Mike Williams. It's not one we see often that a player elevates this far into their career. And it's just a trademark of Mike Williams. There's always more in the tank. And guy literally nearly sustained an injury where a lot of people don't walk afterwards. Like, kind of never write Mike Williams off. Like, that's he's impressive on a number of levels.
Like, chances are he is still just having problems with his knee, and he'll get back to being healthy, and he'll get back to being Mike Williams.
He will be a little more up and down, is ultimately the conclusion, but he's very, very startable every week. He's got a lot of upside in him. Bob, this is me skipping you because that's wrong. I tried to trade Dalvin Cook for a first and Mac Jones.
Dalvin Cook 1 for 1 for Mac Jones.
What more should I add to Cook to make a deal? Make the deal a second?
There's missing punctuation. Should we add a second?
I think maybe. Yeah, I think maybe run your trade comments by someone else, because judging by this, I don't think they understood what you were trying to say.
Man, Dalvin Cook should get taken for Mac Jones in a points per carry league.
Sorry, Bob.
I don't care that there's 14. I'm actually answering the question. I'm not being mean like you are. If they didn't take that, that means they just don't want Dalvin Cook, in which case there's nothing you could add to do it. If a second you think gets it done and you really just want to get rid of Dalvin Cook and you want to get Mac Jones, a second isn't going to stop me from doing the trade.
Dalvin Cook 1 for 1.
Oh, Dalvin Cook straight.
Okay, I say Dalvin Cook for Mac Jones. Yeah, I probably wouldn't do that either. So it's just running back has more value to winning, unless they're short a quarterback. That doesn't seem like a steal deal. What do you think Mac Jones' range of outcomes is? So, like, I don't think he's like the top. I think he's good.
No, he's a super solid QB too,
like the Derek Carr of the new generation kind of a thing. But
except Derek Carr showed that he can be decent. I mean, fantasy wise, can be pretty good. I just don't.
That's what I mean, though. I think Mac Jones can be pretty good for fantasy, just not. I think he's fine. Thanks, guys. Stacking up them ham sandwiches. Yeah, sorry, man. Ham sandwiches.
Throw some in the freezer. Just you don't want them to start.
I'm actually hungry after saying ham sandwich that much. So
you did say it a lot.
I did. First, and Russell Gage for Henderson. Yeah.
Yep. Because Russell Gage is worth absolutely nothing.
I would trade away Russell Gage if I was getting that side, but yeah, I just want the first. You didn't have to throw this in, it's fine. But I will trade him away for a second too. Fine. Would be mid to late. Do you do this estimating mid to late and early?
Not yet.
Okay. I honestly just forget to until someone points it out to me.
No, you have to wait until you're much closer to the playoffs to be able to do that. It's so up in the air. Unless if you're saying mid to late, no. If you're saying it's early or it's late, you might be able to do that because there's a chance where a team has like 1 win and 300 less points than the person above them. That's going to be a very early pick, but otherwise so much stuff can happen in the next 5-6 weeks that can switch things around. So everything's mid unless it's super obvious.
Simon, I think you got a good deal on CEH. I think he's a good NFL player. He's going to hold that job, and the team likes him, and he does a lot of stuff for the team. He's fine.
He's not going to be the running back one we wanted him to be.
He's not better than Jonathan Taylor just because he's on the Chiefs, which was what a lot of us were like, maybe, please, would that be great?
That was so flawed in the first place.
He's just not.
That's fine. Chuba's not going to be a thing. James Conner, you'll never know when he's going to be a thing. CEH, when he comes back, will have a steady workload. So I
like James Conner. I like Chuba Hubbard. It's just roll them into one player with a little extra because it's only one roster spot. Yeah, cool. That's cool to me. I also have, I think Josh Jacobs, I also have trade offer for Aaron Rodgers, Swift, Akers, and Derrick Henry for Kyler Murray and a late second.
Okay, wow. Hold on.
There's a lot going on there.
Yeah, Rodgers, Swift, Akers, and Derrick Henry for Kyler Murray in a second. I mean, if you're rolling into next year,
I guess, yeah. If you're not winning this year, there's just no way you can win. And I want Kyler Murray, sure.
But I mean, Derrick Henry and Akers aren't doing anything for you this year either. If anything,
no, it's a really weird trade.
Here's the problem, because if you're
Derrick Henry and Swift will be incredibly valued this offseason. Rodgers and Henry will be a little undervalued this season, but ultimately the elite player in there is Murray, and that's why
if you're taking on Aaron Rodgers, Akers, and Derrick Henry, you're not competing. Like, that's the point. But if you're not competing, why are you throwing away
it's a weird trade
24-year-old quarterback?
I don't know why Swift and Henry would be on the same side as an Akers.
I gotta be honest. This seems weird. I'd stay away.
It's a weird trade, but if I had to pick a side, I think Murray is the ultimate in a super flex. He's the best asset. And after that, it's Swift, which is why it's a weird trade. But I'd take the Murray side if I had to. I'd probably do a different thing.
Well, I mean, let's put it this way: Derrick Henry's value is dead, and even when he comes back, his value is dead,
which is going to make him a buy. But
yes, absolutely, 1,000%. Yes,
neither here nor there. Neither here nor there right now. 12-team Superflex, half-point PPR. I'm a contender. First fair, Gage and Henderson fair. Yes, get rid of Gage. What is fair value to acquire Antonio Brown in a trade? Second? I think a second's fair.
Still not giving up a first for him. I don't care.
I wasn't even looking at you when you came up with the same answer. Look at that. I've learned from listening to you all these years. Bob Gilchrist, Pittman equals Judy Mike Williams. Mike Williams maybe, but Mike Williams has done better this year so far. Maybe Mike Williams. Mike Williams is fair to me, but
Pittman and Judy I can put together. That's fine, but I still think hashtag team comes a big wide receiver. I want Mike Williams more.
Judy plus Pittman. That's Pittman for Judy plus Pittman to me. So I take the Judy side. Chase Claypool.
He's just adding to the people that Pittman equals.
Oh, right.
I take Pittman over Claypool.
No, I take Pittman over Claypool because he's done it. In the same way I take Pittman over Ayuk, but I'm still interested in Ayuk. Because I think people are now like suffering shock of, the thing that wasn't going to happen and not happening. 10-team tight end premium, full rebuild plan, go for it in 23. Traded Carter, McNichols, and Claypool.
Is there a question?
I don't know. I think
I don't know.
I mean, I think that I agree. I would do that. I would trade Carter, McNichols, and Claypool if I'm just looking for next year. Yeah, that seems fine.
I mean, Claypool is anybody on the Steelers is a future asset, except for Deontay and Najee, who are one now also. But Juju's a future asset. I believe in Freiermuth. I just love me some Penn State pass catchers. Chase Claypool, he will be worth anything the second they get a guy that can throw the ball more than 15 yards.
I know. I think it's Claypool as Ayuk to me. I think people are going to be disappointed. I don't know. No.
Yes, if people think he is Mapletron, the next coming of Megatron, then yeah, they're going to be disappointed. But he's still with a guy that can actually throw the ball, he has that 4 touchdown upside.
I think he's undervalued, but if I can,
he's Deshaun Jackson. Like, he has that 2 catch for 16-yard downside also. So it's
Depends what you're getting, but it's a fine list. It's not a list of players I would never trade away. Put it that way. It's fine if I get a good trade. Who's some players I can target by trading Cook? He means Dalvin Cook.
Dalvin?
Not Cook.
Anyone?
Yeah, you should be able to get anyone, especially if they're competing this year. So you've probably got a list of 3 teams to try for, but still. Yeah.
Yeah, you have your shot at okay. And if we're talking super flex leagues, your quarterbacks probably start around who you think the quarterback 6 to 7 is, but wide receiver wise, running back wise, tight end wise, anyone, literally anyone.
Here are the players that I'm trying to trade for in any situation forever. And if you've got Cook, one of them should be available in the right trade, even if you have to add. If it's super flex, I like Mahomes, Kyler Murray, and Lamar Jackson. I also like at running back Jonathan Taylor, Najee Harris, DeAndre Swift. Go get any of them for the future. It's still a running back, and they should be more valued this offseason.
Oh, man, if you can get Jonathan Taylor for Dalvin Cook all day.
You probably have to add to it, and I'd be fine if I'm trading away Cook. I'm assuming I'm not winning.
Yeah, sure.
Jefferson, Chase, and Lamb, if you actually want to trade that makes sense because it's not a same position trade.
Beautiful.
You have to add to Cook to get one of them and do it if you're not winning.
Yep.
Discount versions of that, Stephon Diggs. That's the guy who Calvin Ridley and Stephon Diggs, and now Calvin Ridley's gone. Stephon Diggs still getting the volume. He's still good. It's just the performance isn't there. Terry McLaurin and DJ Moore. Buy him in all situations.
Love that, yeah.
At tight end, I have a few names.
But we're already at a point in those wide receivers where you should be getting decent pluses.
Yeah, and you shouldn't be trading for tight end outside of specific situation.
Unless you're getting Pitts, in which case you're going to need to add to Cook to get Pitts.
Talk to Bob. He knows all about it.
Yeah, talk to Bob and Bosch. Yeah,
and he'll make you feel great about it. And he's smart and knows more about this than me. I just like to meme on him. But those are the list of players I would be trying to trade for in every situation. So if I'm just asked a blanket, I've got this elite asset. Who do I trade for? Those in all situations, winning, losing for next year. I think you're good. Those are the names. Ridley Truther, Cousins would be a good grab. Love him in the super flex. Cousins
super solid QB2. Yes.
I'm Ron Burgundy. Hi boys. Hey John.
I'm Ron Burgundy.
John Bosch. I'm Ron Burgundy. Doesn't work. It's funny. He also called us boys, which again fulfills my theory that John Bosch is really the adult in the room.
I mean, he's older than
we're all just kids. Tim W. I'm expecting more than 3 points
for Mike Williams.
Oh yeah. He should be good. He's getting more than that in expected points even in his down games. So yeah, more than 3. Anyway, Rick Budley. I am a 4-3 most points in the league. Okay, so I'm competing. A rebuild team has Chubb, Mike Williams. How many picks should I get? I like this question. This man gets it. He's aggressive. Exactly how much do I have to give up to get
all
this thing?
Of them?
All of them. Chubb. The problem is here, both of these guys are going to be devalued the minute the offseason hits. But you're right. You're going to go win. I don't know who else is on your roster. Nick Chubb, try for 2, especially if it's a rebuild. Mike Williams, try 3 first for both.
No, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, 3 first for both.
Yeah. I think that'll probably get it done.
It should, especially on a rebuilding team, to get rid of a 28-year-old wide receiver and any running back.
If it's too much, you don't have those picks. Remove Mike Williams and just go get Chubb.
I mean, I'm good with that. He's so good.
Hat tip, my friend. That's how I know he's watching on my Twitch channel, because that's a little hat tip gift. You don't care. Anyway.
I would think we all know the hat tip you're associated with at this point.
I would doubt it. STP. Hang on, my friend. I'm going to stop trying to read screen names. 1 QB rebuild for a 23.
Oh, here we go. This is the whole thing that we only got the first line of last time.
Carter, McNichols, Claypool got it to a contender for Ridley, Gallup, a first. AJ. Is that part of his
team now?
That's his team. No, that's not.
Okay, so he traded Michael Carter, Jeremy McNichols, Chase Claypool, and Dallas Goedert for
basically
Ridley, Gallup and 2 firsts.
Basically 2 firsts and 2 seconds.
Yeah. Okay, so that's fine because
it's fine.
Carter, we're saying, is a first. Claypool is a first in Gallup.
Goedert's decent.
Whatever.
Tight end
McNichols is literally nothing. So no, yeah, fine.
Yeah, it's fine. It's an even trade. Don't be mean, Peter. I try not to.
She doesn't know you very well, I guess.
Tim W. For a QB needy team in Superflex Dynasty, is Taysom Hill a league winning option? Nope. I do not believe so.
Nope. I mean, he'll be fine, but he's not a league winner.
I get the rushing upside and the fact he had such an impact in those few games. Here's the thing. I literally just had to adjust a 25% interception rate for him down, and I'm kind of just triggered off that because he's going to be a regular starter now, and those few interceptions on those few passes don't count. I think, no, I don't think so. I get the running upside, but he'll
be fine. No, he'll be a fine QB too. And that's, if you expect more, that's when you're going to get disappointed.
RBs behind Javonte and tight ends behind Pitts are all nobodies, banking on getting RBs for the 6th first across 2022 and 23.
Which, yes, that is what you'll be able to do.
Yeah. Package it all up, go get your best players. And then if you miss, at least you made your best shots. That tends to be my attempt. Simon Denny, got it. To clear up that bit of confusion, someone offered me the trade for Kyler because I'm in a rebuild year. I had already declined it, but just wanted your opinions. Appreciate the help.
You don't take on a 30-year-old running back because you're rebuilding. That's and a 36-year-old quarterback, and I don't even remember. Like,
Swift, I mean, you
nice,
can.
Still,
and Swift was good.
No, there's.
Ultimately, I want less roster spots usage so I can add more players that might turn into more value, which I can then flip. If I'm building, I want the space. That's what I'd say.
You can do so much better that will help you get it to the right place in a better fashion, because there's so much on that other side that can turn into nothing very quickly, especially with Aaron Rodgers going to end up somewhere else next year, assuming he doesn't just retire. Derrick Henry, his value is going to be trash, and we don't know what he comes back as in the beginning of the season. It might take him a long time to get over a foot injury, especially because he's a gigantic man. So there's a lot of pressure going on those feet. So that is absolutely not a trade you make.
Don't stream Doctor. I think he can get healthy like everyone else. But yeah, it's just, we don't know. And I would value the roster space and the elite dynasty value asset. And Kyler Murray is worth literally whatever you want. He should be worth whatever you want. Like Kyle Pitts theoretically is. Kyler Murray actually is. Luke Johnson, what's the value of CEH in Superflex? It's a good question because it's not a first and it's not 2 firsts. It's like between them.
You're not getting a first for CEH right now.
No. You think it's worth a second? Wow, I thought you were saying 2 firsts.
No. You're not getting a first for CEH right now, man.
That's fair. The price is different than the value.
Yes, 1,000%. Like, he's gonna.
That's why he's kind of. Yeah, he's kind of between the two.
Wait till he comes back. Wait till he comes back, and he'll be worth more right away when he's playing. But it's really tough. Like, you're gonna. Answer. CEH, if you're rebuilding, just hold on to CEH unless you are in the draft. And there's a dude in the second, because I was talking to Kane Fassell the other day, and he said the entire second round of this coming rookie draft is going to be wide receivers. So if you get to that,
if you have CH or David Montgomery, you put something together with them to get a first or more. That's probably
put them together. Go get a first plus. That's fine,
because they have no value to you.
You don't.
Unfortunately, they should be worth more, but they will be worth less this offseason. So it's just put something with them, like a second or a wide receiver who's, a top
and especially
guy,
to competing teams, Montgomery's going to be worth more and more every second he gets closer. Well, his price will go up every second he gets closer to playing again, which we're more
trade deadlines are a thing.
Well, gross. Ew.
Mm-hmm. I know you don't like them, but they're a thing. Now's a good time to put something with them to go get some extra value. Mm-hmm. It's unfortunate that's the way it works, but that's running back for you. That's why we're cautious with their value.
Put them both together and get a first and a young wide receiver and just be happy about it.
There were 3 first-round picks, and then they're worth literally maybe if I add Tyler Lockett, I can get a first. This is why running backs suck.
Running backs are the worst.
But that's the move. That is actually the dynasty move. It's go add something together and go try and fish a first off someone. Preferably a competing team, but who knows? Hey, Peter and Russ, good to see you guys. You too.
Keep
Toronto
reading.
Dave.
Keep reading.
No. Legitimately try to refrain from overt compliments. I feel bad for the last time, so I need to address that comment. Going to enjoy watching. Okay. I'm
you
curious
be
to see...
you, Dave. Don't listen to Peter's curmudgeonness.
Don't try and take my fun away and expect me to react to it. Okay? I like being overly pessimistic and curmudgeonly. You can't make me feel bad about it. Okay, it's not fair.
I think I just did.
Just let me be mean about it in my own way.
You could be so much more, Peter. You could be so much more.
I could be so much less. I'm curious to see how much work JWJ gets when he comes back and how it will affect Elijah Mitchell.
Nah, it won't, because
I don't. They use one guy till he gets hurt, then they use another guy, and if one gets hurt, he goes to the back of the list.
Like, it's the same thing. Like when like just replace Elijah Mitchell with Mostert. Wilson didn't really affect Mostert's workload. They're just way too different players. So I don't think Wilson coming back will really affect Elijah Mitchell's workload.
It's a
Sermon might just be dead for the rest of the year, though.
It's as straightforward as fantasy Twitter always wants a running back backfield to be. You get hurt, you go to the back of the queue, and by the time you get to the front, it's your turn again. Then you get hurt, and you go to the back of the queue. That's San Francisco running backs, man. Just it's easy. Don't make it complicated. I'm curious to see how much Khalil Herbert stays involved. We are too. We started out that he looks legitimate to me. In the last few weeks, his usage has been pretty good. Last week was really impressive. I think he might have more of a future than most might ordinarily think, even with David Montgomery on the return.
Yeah.
Tim W. not contending. Trade Jerry Jeudy for a first for Terrence Marshall. I want the Jeudy side.
Yeah, I just love me some Jeudy, but that is okay value. I don't think you need. That's not something you need to do now. That value, I should say, won't change. If you want to do that in 3 months, you can still get that trade done.
Drop that first to a second. I still think it could get accepted, and I still want the Jeudy side.
If you're getting Jeudy, I would do that. If you're trading away Jeudy, no, I would want a better player than Terrace Marshall.
I would not. It depends which side. I don't know which side Tim is on here, but you want the Jeudy.
It seems like he's trading Jeudy. He's asking if he should trade Jeudy away. And honestly, my answer is you don't trade Jeudy away in a rebuilding team unless you're getting a big good offer. And this is not that.
Yeah, put Terrence Marshall 2 firsts. I'd give you Jeudy. Fine, whatever. You don't want to be the one left holding Terrence Marshall. I'm still holding that position, and I'm yet to be, shown up.
Even if Terrace Marshall is okay, it's just not enough.
I've been getting told egg was going to land on my face for not loving Terrence Marshall for a while now, and yet my face remains eggless, as my egg remains faceless. So I'm just saying.
Oh my God, if I cracked an egg, then there was a face?
Straight vegan. Expect it to be on the inside.
Straight vegan.
Lands on the. Yeah, there you go. I think we can get into the questions, man.
I need food. Meat. No, can't go.
I love egg. I've actually been living off egg sandwiches lately. Not that anyone cares to know.
No,
but I was just looking for something that was easy.
It's just
quick,
so good.
I enjoy, and I could put ketchup on. And there it was, egg sandwich. Like, why didn't I think of that before? Shut up. Ridley Truth. When do you pull the plug on a team contending? It's really hard to read. Part of it's record. Part of it is if you're on my fantasy league, you can look at your all-play record, and that really tells the truth.
And if you're in a league that does not give us at least one seed to most points outside of the playoff teams, riot until they allow that. Because going pure based on record is the dumbest thing ever.
Yeah, if you don't... It's a little bit of work, but try and go back and just look to see if you would be winning more than 50% of your matchups if you played everyone every week. That it's not a great barometer, but it's some sort of barometer of if you're above or below the fold. And my fantasy literally has a calculation in there for you, but I think sleeper and stuff, you probably have to just take a glance, just get an idea if you're beating most teams.
Third and fourth in points, it's stupid randomness that's not giving you wins, so don't stop.
Yeah, you could just look at all points, yeah.
I mean, it seems like he said he's top 3 to 4 in points.
Yeah, so just keep trying, man.
Keep going, man.
That would be my guess without seeing the roster. You're competitive. Yeah. Toronto Dave, contender for Darrell Henderson worth a first?
Yep.
Not for me. Oh, wait. Henderson. I was reading one of the Damian Williamses. I'm getting tired. Yeah,
No,
Henderson is worth a first.
Henderson is
Henderson is worth. It's like the most common question on this show.
If we were to title this show, it would be Henderson's worth a first.
I know it's a surprise. I know no one wants to accept it on either side. Those with Henderson are like, really? And those without Henderson are like, really? But yeah, that's what it is. That's why running backs suck also, because one day they're CEH and one day they're Darrell Henderson. It's the way it goes.
Or one day they're CEH, one day they're CEH.
That's probably better. Median games per week. Okay, yeah, sure.
Yeah, victory points are a very awesome thing. Right. I'm only in one league that does them. I should be in more, but the problem is most of my leagues I run and I have not put them in my leagues yet.
Right. I'm running out of questions here. So I said my top 3 running backs for the rest of the season, because this was literally a question I got on Twitter. I was like, that's an interesting one, given all the injuries. And right now it's Kamara, Harris, and Swift, and then you've got that solid tier. I do think Eckler and Cooks stand out in that second tier, but Kamara, Harris, and Swift stand out in terms of overall usage.
I put Eckler in that top tier.
Who would you drop out of it?
Because he asked for top 3?
Top 3? Mm-hmm.
Would it be too hot takey to say Kamara, because that offense is going to get super weird?
No, we're talking about like the difference between a very nice thing.
I'm not going to be sad starting either of them. Nice you're like, right. So
that second tier of running backs, I'm like we said in the show, I'm very happy rolling out Mixon and Ezekiel Elliott and Henderson and Robinson. Like the expectations aren't different, but if I have to create a top 3, those were the 3 that would hit. How about Dynasty, though? I literally read off my Dynasty guys who I think you can buy in any situation. They're going to be highly valued this offseason. So,
I mean, the top 3 running backs, I think, are Taylor Swift and Najee. And it's probably it.
Yep. Those
any
are the
order
3 I
feel
had.
like.
Yeah. So no disagreement there. It's sad when we don't disagree, Russ, don't you think? Wide receiver's too easy. Jefferson, Chase, Lamb. So there's no difference there.
That's really just it at this point.
Hang on here. You guys rule. Team Old Guy. Thanks, Ridley Truth. I appreciate it. Sam Darnold, Juju, Conklin for Derek Carr. How about Zach Wilson? I don't want
Zach Wilson. And I don't
want to roster Zach Wilson anymore. Feels bad.
Okay, man. We need league detail. Oh, 2 QB, but what's the size? Like, what's the league size are we talking about? If this is, if it's it,
and
2 QB is weird, man. Like, you have to start 2 QBs, otherwise you take the 0. But still, I like Juju. We both like Juju way too much to want to do this for Derek Carr, and I want nothing to do with Zach
Pretty
Wilson.
much. Derek Carr's fine. Sam Darnold, as long as he's got the job, is going to be fine in terms of superflex startability. Zach Wilson, no thank you.
12-team 2Q. Ooh, 12-team 2 QB. That's rough because not everyone can have a third quarterback.
Mm-hmm. But he's only getting one. It's still 1 for 1. So it doesn't.
Yeah, Darnold and Carr are both playing. Yeah, I don't do that because they're whatever. I would rather just hold on. See if you can replace Juju with someone we don't like as much.
Yeah, right now Juju is the only one that could I really would see increasing in value.
Yeah.
And so I just take that side, I guess. But just having Carr, it saves your roster spots. It's fine. I think I take the Juju side, though. Toronto Dave, extremely early, but general thoughts on 22 rookie draft. I literally have none. I think the picks are going to be undervalued. I'm kind of excited about that because there's still going to be good players here, but people are going to want 2023 picks. I literally do not know a single name of the players who are going to be drafted. No
idea. You're talking to the wrong guys about this one. Sorry, buddy.
I wait. Other QB is Kyler and Teddy. Kyler's your QB then, and Teddy's fine.
Well, this is a 2 quarterback, so switching between Teddy and Darnold, you're fine. I wouldn't.
No pressure. I mean, Conklin, I would try and trade away Conklin for anything I could get, but I'm not just throwing in Juju for none. And you're not getting an upgrade is the thing. You're not getting a real upgrade, so what's the point? I heard PJ Walker getting first team reps at the moment. Cool.
I have not heard that. They're not sitting Darnold.
Care.
They're not sitting Darnold. They're not going to.
When players getting this team reps pays off, I'll start listening to it. As it is, it just seems like more stuff I could be doing other things than listening. I don't.
No, I'm not. No, that's not something I'm actioning on.
No, I just special teams usage is more interesting to me, whether it's going up or down. It is actually really interesting trend. And not one you have to listen to beat reporters for. You can just look at Pro Football Reference. Not the beat reporters aren't awesome and good and stuff. Who's worth more? Nah, that's too easy. I'm trying to find a Travis Kelce question for folks. Like, I get everyone wants.
Wait, hold on. Spock came back with a question.
Teddy and Bridgewater rest of season outlook, fine. They're QB2s, top 24. They're fine.
Teddy and Bridgewater are the same person.
Yeah,
I'm guessing he means Darnold. Yeah, I'd get rid of them if you can to get.
I would trade them away, sure. But where the quarterbacks in a 2 QB, specifically 2 QB 12 team, you need other quarterbacks in return.
Yes, because you need 3.
Something I was thinking about this week. This year is reminding of us why drafting the quarterback above everyone else in superflex drafts, rookie drafts, is still the right idea, but normally it sucks. You normally get Carr, you normally get Bridgewater, you normally get fucking Marcus Mariota. You don't get Justin Herbert and Kyler Murray every year. It sucks, but quarterback just ends up being more valuable. So yeah, like remember the pain of this year. Like Trevor Lawrence is fine. This is good. It's fine. It's just what it is. We got too spoiled with too many young QBs going off so early that now we're like, just get one next year. There's probably not another one coming. We're probably looking at the elite quarterback landscape for a while to come. So stop betting on the upside. What does that mean with Teddy and Darnold? It means they're infinitely more startable than it feels right now because there's going to be a lack of those guys. There's really only a few players that beat that expectation. God, we got a whole new rush here, right? I thought I was going to get you out here with a Kelce question. Sorry. Bob, so glad you brought up Juju. Screw you, Bob. I feel like this is going to hurt. Would you move Juju for Antonio Brown if you're contending? Yes.
Is Antonio Brown healthy yet? I know they have a bye this week, so hopefully if he comes back healthy next week, yeah,
he's going to start again some point this year. Yes, I would, and that hurt. Thank you, Bob.
That makes me cry. Yeah.
Tim W. Is Waller and Kittle dropping out of the top 4 dynasty tight ends? That's an interesting one. I think they could be. I was looking at that list.
The problem is who's replacing them. So that's why yeah. I mean, you have...
It's just Kyle Pitts, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you've got Travis Kelce, and then everyone else.
Okay, yeah, he's right.
No, here's the thing. I was going to ask you where Kelce lands, because Pitts is going to be the dynasty tight end 1. I like Kelce, but Pitts is going to be the
my one. I still stick... get it that Pitts is the one. I get it. I am
agree.
In the minority.
Same place. Same place. Same headspace.
Like,
then you've got...
Pitts and Kelce are 1 and 2. Who's the rest of the guys? Waller, Kittle, and Hawk. Who else?
Andrews. Kittle, Waller. Those are going to be the guys. I therefore think Gesicki and Fant, maybe even Hawkinson, are like really interesting.
Yeah, I just think there's still time before people will put Gesicki up in there. Even though he's playing like it right now, I think we need to see consistency out of it. Plus, his contract's up kind of soon, right?
I think not in order, but the top 4 are going to be Kelce, Pitts, Andrews, probably Waller. He probably sticks in the top 4, actually.
He's not doing what he was, but he's still doing really well for a tight end. And that's the truth. Like
he's been fine.
He's not putting up 25 points, but he's still putting up 16 to 18 points in my leagues, at least, 1.75.
He hasn't struggled any more than Kelce has. Kelce has been down a little bit the last few games.
He's been a little up and down.
And Pitts has had 1 good game, but he's still clearly not dinging it. It's just tight end is a certain position. So yeah, Waller's probably going to stick in the top 4. Kittle comes in 5th, and then I think that makes Gesicki, Hunt, Hawkinson all interesting. But they're pretty much all the same value after Pitts. That's why I think Travis Kelce is so interesting, because he is the only one with that difference-making points per game outside of Waller that 1 year. And Kittle that 1 year, and Andrews that 1 year. Kelce's the only one who's done it for multiple years.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Still, Teddy and Sam, we got it.
Yeah.
Or actually, Outhouse figured it out. I would have kept. I was just like, Teddy and Bridgewater? Sure.
Yeah,
I know
that's
fine.
fine.
I just carried on. That makes perfect sense to me. Teddy and Darnold. I got you. Travis Etienne for Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones.
Aaron Jones.
I hurt my finger accepting it. Donald only took part in the walkthrough.
It's Wednesday. Who cares?
I am not dismissive of you, Joe. I am dismissive of things I have no idea how to make.
Yes, that is a very fair statement. I apologize if you thought that was in reaction to you yourself. No,
I appreciate you putting in the effort to know that. Yeah. I really do. It's just I have no idea how to get the value out of that because it seems to not tell us anything. It doesn't predict anything. Again, special teams usage, that's why I lean more heavily on that if I'm looking for a deeper signal, because it's something that's happening that does often lead to changes we can see coming. Which team you're practicing with, I have no idea why they decide those things, but it doesn't seem to help. Really, Truther, kind of curious if Teddy B has a slight bump in production with his boy Judy back. That first game looked so nice. All those wonderful targets. Yeah, Bridgewater's someone who can ride an offense, and the more pieces that get healthy in that offense, the more he can ride it. It's why I preferred him over Locke. I think Locke limits an offense. Bridgewater can at least supply one.
I liked Locke, A, because he was fun, B, because I think he's better for Sutton than Bridgewater is. But honestly, Bridgewater's a better quarterback and better for the offense.
Yeah, look where fun got you.
I never stood. They made the right choice.
Just remember
the
that
NFL team.
Look,
I get it.
You got two parents here. You've got fun parent over here who's always getting you in trouble, and I'm the one with the right answer. So there you go. I don't know where I was going with that, but it felt like I had a direction, and I just gave up on it halfway through. Harris Moss. He's listing running backs now for his team.
Yeah, you should upgrade running back.
Harris is great. The rest can be traded. Yeah. Who would you rather keep, Donald or Teddy?
Teddy. I don't think they go out of their way to replace him that quickly because he's doing well enough. Darnold is not doing well enough.
Here's the thing. I'm convinced Teddy is good. He's stable. He can support an offense. There is
and the Broncos want to win through defense.
Donald could. He's talk about team fun. He's the on-fire driving backwards version of Teddy. Like, he's doing that, but it always feels a little bit less sure. Like, it might go terribly wrong any minute. Whereas Teddy's a nice, steady suburban van that's going to get you where you're going. That's the difference for me. Don't know why car metaphors today. Skip mine, get some sleep, boys. No, never.
Never.
Yes, Peter gets it. Do I? I haven't got it.
Apparently he said so. Bob would never lie.
I haven't gotten it in years. Wait. So what would you give up for Kittle? My young building team. It's a good question. What is a tight end that's not Pitts or Kelsey worth? I think he's worth buying because it's going to be less than they're probably worth. Or the effect is probably worth.
In a non-premium league, I'm not going out of my way to buy a tight end. If I can get him for a second, that's awesome. I don't think you can just because of name value alone and what he can do if he's healthy. But man, I don't know.
I actually kind of like targeting tight end because most people feel that way about it. But here's the thing: I do it either when
feel that way because we're right.
There's an edge. I do it when my team stinks and I'm looking for value increases that other people might not be willing to invest the time and effort with. Kittle could do that. Yes. Or I do it when my team's great and I just need anything extra to push the points per game a little higher. And you can do that at tight end as well. If your team is in the middle, yeah.
All right. So if you're even punting next year, are you giving a first?
No, you must just fade tight end till you have the rest of it. If you get lucky,
okay, but also in a one quarterback league, I wouldn't give up my first if I'm punting. Let's put it that way.
No.
If it's gonna end up being an early first, the answer is absolutely not.
Yeah. So getting more involved in special teams is a good sign. Yeah. Yes. Actually, the way I understand it is what you do is special teams usage is good. But the way Adam Harmstead likes to practice on Twitter is if you see their special teams usage decreasing and someone else is increasing, that probably means they're going to switch out their role in the actual game. So to put it simply, if you're returning punts and you're doing fairly well at it and they take you off punt return duty and give it to someone on the first team, that's probably a signal you're going to get more first team usages. The way he was pointing out last week was that Miles Gaskin, my favorite running back ever, was slowly getting more special teams usage, where Jalen Waddle was slowly getting less, and it coincided with Waddle's starting to increase in target share. So it's not that Myles Gaskin stopped getting used. It's just they didn't want him on special teams anymore. They wanted him in their main offensive push more. And so that's the kind
Unless
of
you're
signal,
the Steelers and you put Antonio Brown back to return kicks because you're idiots.
That makes sense. They did with Le'Veon Bell for a while, I believe.
It was the weirdest thing ever.
They're weird.
And there was something about, I think it was Matt Friedman, Matt F. the Oracle, who had something with college special teams usage and wide receivers where it, wide receivers that returned more kicks or something did better in the NFL. It was something. I'm trying to repeat something I probably heard 3 years ago, so just ignore that I ever said anything on this subject, and let's move on.
I found that amazing. I wish you would do that every podcast. That was wonderful. Thank you, Russ. And Spot, Brandon Cooks for James Conner and James Conner for Chase Claypool.
Yeah.
Whatever. I mean, youth, I guess. I probably just take the
that's what it comes down to. Yeah, that's fine.
Night,
Bob.
Good night, Bob. Hey, thanks, man. Appreciate it. I even try to be mean to him. Look, he still says nice things.
Because they know you're
learn. What did we learn? 12-team Superflex, 5-3. Cool. What's you? No, I'm not going to go on a rant about record. We did that twice already.
We did that.
Trade Fields and Moss for Cousins and Hollywood? Yes.
I don't know. The problem is Moss is kind of nothing at this point, and Cousins and Hollywood are not nothing. But I love Fields, man. Like, if this is Dynasty, Fields is going to be good for a very long time. And I still think he can, assuming he's not going to be as awesome as he was last week, every single week. But if he could be good for the rest of the season, from now to the end of the season, I don't think the point difference between Fields and Cousins is that big of a deal that you want to get rid of that future upside in Fields. So honestly, I would try and put Moss in something else to get someone with a little less name value right now than Hollywood. And this is me loving Fields. Good. Otherwise, that's probably a smart move for your team.
Cousins is going to be a great start. Hollywood's top 12 and underrated. Still, top 12 wide receiver. Still, people like me.
It's a smart move for your team to do it. I just like Fields a lot.
I agree with you. It's a good move for the other team too, because you get Fields. I think
that's really all it is.
Wise, the upside's there, but I mean, I don't think you're getting cheated. I think that's fair.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay, that helps a lot. Yeah, and to be clear, it's not something we just invented. Actually, no, that's something me and Russ literally just noticed and came up with. Yep. No, that's like as old as the time. It's just it became less. It's not fancy and it's not 1-to-1. And sometimes a player getting a higher target share doesn't really score fantasy points, and so people hate it. But most people hate real signals because they don't solve the NFL, because nothing solves it. But it is actually something of value worth looking at. ETN, I can say that now because someone taught me on stream how to say it. I just say the letters ETNN. And Teddy for Cousins and Aaron Jones. Yes.
Oh, wait, just he changed the. Don't even bother with this. Go to the next one.
Okay. ETN and Sam Donald for Teddy and Kirk.
No. ETN and Sam or Teddy for Kirk and Aaron Jones.
Just Kirk and Aaron Jones, and I don't care.
Yeah, either side. Teddy, that's Kirk and Aaron Jones. Yeah,
that's fine. Same reasoning, exact same reasoning.
I mean, we were saying don't give up Juju, so we're both with deal A.
I guess. Deal B.
That was the one we talked about before.
Yeah. College wide receivers, then kick returns suggest good RAC potential. Yeah, I mean, I think it's exaggerated at the college level because of like Antonio Brown, basically. But yeah, I mean, it's always a good sign when a player can earn more touches, and special teams users are kind of overlooked sometimes, so it's not a bad thing to know. Just know that it was also the argument for like John Ross. Because he played a
was
special team and he played a cornerback and he was getting all these touches that weren't wide receiver touches. It is valuable and it definitely is something worth looking at. Just being a little more careful with it. Special teams usage week to week is a little more direct because you can literally see the team's process in motion. It's kind of fascinating, actually. I think. Which deal would you take? We did. And thank you. Thank you, Spock498. You're awesome. All right.
You shut up. Let me go to bed.
Yeah. Who are the elite quarterbacks? I don't have Herbert on my list because I'm trying to be as restrictive as possible. I've got Mahomes, Murray, and Jackson, and that's it. It's not that I don't like Herbert, but like
Josh Allen.
I don't have him on my list either.
Are we talking like fantasy value, or are we talking
in Dynasty?
Like talent?
You would pay exactly what the person wanted for them if you have that capital available.
Yeah, I think you do that with Allen also.
I don't. Okay, that's how we differ there. You wouldn't ask Herbert to the list. I've noticed you say good things about him a time or two.
I like him a lot. He's not consistent enough to do it yet, and I have no idea what to give you on this one.
What metric would you track to help identify players for points per first down? None. I don't think there's anything that has a specific correlation to points per first down. I have
absolutely no idea. In
fact, first downs tend to be hard to predict compared to just fantasy points.
Unless you're Larry Fitzgerald. If you're Larry Fitzgerald, you catch first downs.
Running backs tend to have a higher likelihood, and so do tight ends for first downs, if I remember right, just from the last Scott Fishbowl update. And we looked at it briefly. It's always just usage and usage in certain situations. With first downs, you want players that are getting first downs on first and second down. I can tell you that because that's where you're seeing players that are having success that should remain consistent. And that's probably
they're getting a couple of yards. Oh my God, this question.
College wide receivers should strength of other wide receivers will be factored
Go back
market share. No,
like 18 months and look for Peter's podcasts.
I mean, yeah, but yeah, but the two players it works for were two players playing on the same offense in the same era, and they're the only two for it to ever matter. So probably look, but mostly it's no.
Peter spent an entire summer talking about this.
I said the same thing for so many years. I put out so many videos. I have a whole fucking database. And I should just be, it doesn't even, I was going to say I record myself saying the same thing, but I've done that. So
many times, yeah.
I'm here for you, Toronto Dave. Hey, not laughing at you. Believe me, I get it. I still ask the same question and go back to verify the answer. So it's perfectly fine that you ask. This is one of my rants. It matters, but it doesn't know how it matters.
No, not your bad at all. It's just very funny that you picked something that Peter has felt very strongly about and still had to, at one point, change the definition of the word production to try and answer the question. That is one of my favorite things in the history of fantasy football, that Peter had to change the definition of production because he wanted an answer to something.
Just imagine someone asking me about vacated targets in like 5 years after Tan's already figured it out, and I've been talking about it now. That's basically competition level for market share standards.
No, stop it. We've broken 2 hours. We appreciate you, Woo, but I'm checking out.
Devontae Smith. All right, we're going to get out of here so Ross doesn't hate me and comes back at some point in the future. Checking the show sheet. Our outro is still, I guess we're done here. Really appreciate you all, and thanks very much. Bye.